Was good, Raider Nation. Yes, 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 yes. We're in the building. Come on in. Get it active here with Raider Twuan and the congregation. That's right. Hey, Raider Twuan is in the building, but there is no Raider Twuan without the congregation. And there is no congregation without the Raider Nation. So come on in, join the congregation by hitting that subscribe button. Okay? And you know what? Since I know you on your phone, go ahead and double tap the screen. And you know what I'm saying? That makes sure that you hitting the like button. Why? Because I like you. All right? Hey, despite what everybody else wants to say about you, I like you. All right? So go ahead and hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Support the channel. Let's get the channel growing and showing as you guys have continued to do. So I appreciate you guys for the congregation always being ready to hit that like button and sharing this out. You know what I'm saying? Putting it on Moco Space, MySpace, and making sure that Raider Twuan and the congregation is in the place. All right. Hey, we're gonna talk about wait, let me take a little sip. All right. Hey, we about to get into John Spytek press conference. You know, there's some things that he said in there. And you know what? Because I am who I am, I'm gonna break down everything that you need to know in regards to what he was saying. Because some of these press conferences, I'm not gonna lie to you, you gonna have to you can't be over the line, you can't be under the line, you gotta look in between the lines. All right, and that's exactly what we gotta do. We're gonna read in between the lines. I'm gonna tell you, hey, this is what he was saying. This is why I said what I said. Because again, y'all know I spits the Raider gospel. All right, so I gotta share my Raider gospel and also fact check some of my Raider gospel. Because sometimes when I say this Raider gospel, it actually comes true. All right. So there's gonna be a few things that I'm like, hey, I said this, and voila, here we are. All right. This time I'm gonna do it a little different, okay? Normally I play it all the way out, you know what I'm saying, and listen to it, but this time we're gonna chop and screw, all right? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna let him talk a little bit, then I'm gonna pause it, and then we're gonna get back into it. I'm gonna give the Raider gospel and just give you the gospel on it, and then we will definitely get through it. All right. So definitely hit that like button. Okay. Hey, double tap the screen and subscribe. It's completely free to do. I know you probably, trying to go to sleep or whatever it is. You might be just laying in your bed, you know what I'm saying, on your couch or under a bridge somewhere. Just go ahead and double tap that screen and subscribe. All right, let's get into John Spytek.
Start with you. You would that bed. How does he get that? There you go. It's all the seating arrangement. Yeah, there you go. Start from the front right? Going back a couple of days, the trade for Kenny Pickett. Kind of how'd that come about, and what was it about Kenny Pickett that sort of made you guys focus on him? Well, obviously quarterbacks are an important commodity, and Kenny's somebody that we've had a lot of respect for a long time. I was in Tampa in 2022 when he was a rookie and beat Tom Brady. He fit the profile of what we're looking for. He does a lot of similar things that Geno does with his athleticism and ability to move the pocket and all that. And, you look around the league and you think, who could be available? Who could we get? And a team with 4 quarterbacks certainly looks like a spot where you could get it. And so we felt like organizationally it made a lot of sense. We still are excited about working through Aiden's injury and getting him back at some point. But, we had to have some answers, and it would be a lot to ask a rookie from North Dakota State to be the number 2 guy going into New England in week 1. So felt like it was a great move for us.
You guys could have put Aiden on IR, but kept him on the active roster. I know Coach Carroll said he thought he was.
Okay, so hey, thanks for liking. You know what I'm saying? Double tap the screen. That's all you got to do. Hey, look, you know, this is one of the things that he talked about, talking about Kenny Pickett. We just added Kenny Pickett to the roster. And when Aiden O'Connell got hurt, we were in search for a backup quarterback. And one of the things that I said, hey, we need somebody that's been a starter in this league. We need someone that has won some games in this league. May not be, you know, a starter caliber type of guy, but has that experience as our backup quarterback. And voila, here we are with Kenny Pickett coming in. You know what I'm saying? Some people like him, some people don't. And, you know, again, I still got my side-eye emoji on him, you know what I'm saying, to see how it's going to play out, how things are going to roll with that. But with that being said, it fits the criteria. He's been a starter in this league. He's won some games in this league. And to have that as a backup quarterback to your starting quarterback is a good value. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing to have. So definitely Kenny Pickett fits that list. And we'll see how he does throughout the season. Make sure you hit that, double tap that screen and hit that like button. Hey, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free to do.
He'll be out 6 to 8 weeks. Did you guys have a more optimistic timetable when you return to that, or was it just?
He's now on IR. We placed him on IR today, so it's just really kind of the way that the league allows you to do different ways to put guys to IR. You know, you get 8 total guys for the entire season to bring back from designated to return. If you do 2 of them like we did Lonnie before, now you're down to 6. And so we thought that this will just give us a little bit more flexibility. Sometimes it's challenging because you have to carry them through the cut and then cut somebody like a veteran usually to do it. With the way our roster was kind of made up, it actually kind of fell together, so it wasn't as challenging to do as some of the places I've been in past. So Aiden's on IR now, and he's already had a surgery, and he's already working hard to get back. And when he's ready, he'll have a chance to play football again.
So you might go with 3 active quarterbacks.
Well,
half the season maybe.
We'll see how it comes. You know, I'm not going to make any predictions about how the season unfolds, but right now we know we have 2 healthy guys on the active roster, and that's kind of how we'll start the season.
Whether it's a trade or whether it's a signing, what are your top priorities when making a decision as a general manager?
Being on the same page with Pete and making sure it's what's best for the Raiders. You know, Pete and I have had since the start a great communication between us. We've got great staffs that support us and feel, I think, empowered to tell us what they think. And so any move that we make, you can bet that Pete and I have talked a lot about it, which means our staffs have talked a lot about it too, and we've done it because we feel like it's in the best for the Raiders.
There, Munford. Is there a corresponding move attached to that?
Yeah, we actually ran Stone Forsythe out there about halfway through practice today. He did quick touch his toes and got in some of the drills. So Stone will be our vision of the new swing tackle. The guys, a lot to ask a rookie from North Dakota State to be the number 2 guy going into New England in week 1. So felt like it was a great move for us.
You guys could have put Aiden on IR, but kept him on the active roster. I know Coach Carroll said he thought he was going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Did you guys have a more optimistic timetable when you return to that, or was it just?
He's now on IR. We placed him on IR today, so it's just really kind of the way that the league allows you to do different ways to put guys to IR. You know, you get 8 total guys for the entire season to bring back from designated to return. If you do 2 of them like we did Lonnie before, now you're down to 6. And so we thought that this will just give us a little bit more flexibility. Sometimes it's challenging because you have to carry them through the cut and then cut somebody like a veteran usually to do it. With the way our roster was kind of made up, it actually kind of fell together, so it wasn't as challenging to do as some of the places I've been in past. So Aiden's on IR now, and he's already had a surgery, and he's already working hard to get back. And when he's ready, he'll have a chance to play football again.
Okay, so we got an update on Aiden O'Connell. We know what's going on with him. You know what I'm saying? He got hurt. Obviously, we saw that part, but now we know that he has got his surgery. You know what I'm saying? And he's on the mend. But you know, they're still holding hope for Aiden O'Connell. one of the things that was puzzling when you looked at our roster, you found out that he was still on the roster after the injury, right? And that's one of the rules, and that's where John Spytek is making his money. He's playing the game. You know, of course, with every game, in every game, there's a loophole, right? And in that loophole, there are certain things that you can do that benefit you, and there's certain things that, you know, what all that, right? So he the reason why Aiden O'Connell was on the roster was because in regards to how many roster spots that we have on the injured list, how many times we could put somebody on the injured list and it not really penalize us, is a certain amount. So he had to play with the whole timing. Like, I can't let him go now. I got to wait and then let him go. And then that's how it benefits us. So he was playing that game. So, you know, those that had a heart attack about us rostering a injured player, there's a method to the madness.
You might go 3 after 4 nights.
Well,
Half the season, maybe.
We'll see how it comes. You know, I'm not going to make any predictions about how the season unfolds, but right now we know we have 2 healthy guys on the active roster, and that's kind of how we'll start the season.
Whether it's a trade or whether it's a signing, what are your top priorities when making a decision as a general manager?
Being on the same page with Pete and making sure it's what's best for the Raiders. You know, Pete and I have had since the start a great communication between us. We've got great staffs that support us and feel, I think, empowered to tell us what they think. And so any move that we make, you can bet that Pete and I have talked a lot about it, which means our staffs have talked a lot about it too. And we've done it because we feel like it's in the best for the Raiders.
One of the things that we have going for ourselves, and this is a positive in regards to the team, is that our GM and our head coach are actually working together. You know what I'm saying? And we've had experiences before where we've seen that the head coach and the GM are not on the same page. They're playing tug of war. They're that battle is going back and forth and all of that. And that's where you run into trouble. With us, we would have seen it by now. He's gone through the draft. That would have been a time to have a issue where of tug of war, right? Another issue is the draft. You know what I'm saying? The draft, and then you had free agency. We didn't have any issues that came out that the GM wanted this guy and the head coach wanted this guy and they weren't on the same page. So there's been some times where it could have went that way, but it didn't go that way. And those are signs that show you that, hey, we're actually on the right path.
There, Munford, is there a corresponding move attached to that?
Yeah, we actually ran Stone Forsyth out there about halfway through practice today. He did quick touch his toes and got in some of the drills. So Stone will be our vision of the new swing tackle right now, the number 3, while Charles continues to keep working.
You went through the whole process of a training camp as the guy. What did you learn about your job and everything that comes along with it that was different from your previous stops as you grew into this?
That's a deep question. I was fortunate in Tampa that Jason gave me such exposure to everything that we did there. I was right next to him for most of it. So I think for me, the big difference is that ultimately somebody has to make a decision. And when, on the personnel side, a lot of times in harmony with Pete, it comes down to me and him. And so, the hardest or the most different thing for me yesterday probably was, and the day before, was when we talked to the guys that we unfortunately had to let go. That that's a different conversation that I've had in the past. In the past, it was more like maybe I was the person just delivering the news, but I think there was an understanding, looking at it and be like, you're part of the main reason why. And so I think there's a responsibility in that, and something that I don't take lightly. But I think I learned about us and what we're trying to do as the Raiders, that we had great communication and we were able to solve any problems that kind of were laid out in front of us.
John, obviously Jacoby had a trade request, but despite that, no holdout situation, still coming to practice. What do you think that says about his professionalism, and how do you assess his value to this team?
Well, Jacoby's a consummate professional, and Jacoby and I have had a lot of great conversations since I've gotten here. about many different things. And, you know, I'm excited that he's here and he's a Raider and he's out in the field working hard today. And I've not seen him do anything but that since I've been here. He's a professional. I think he really values being a Raider. He has a lot of respect for this game, and I think he only knows how to go about it one way, which is to give his best when he's out there.
John, what was your thought process, if you could elaborate?
Hey, so you see how he played the political game on the Jacoby Myers, you know, trade rumors and all that stuff, right? We know right now with Jacoby Myers, he is trying to get he's trying to get a little more federales on his check, you know what I'm saying, which I believe he deserves. But you know, the organization is playing games with you know, the numbers and figuring that out, right? But along with that, here we go with, you know, the beat writers. They have to ask these questions because these are questions, of course, the Raider Nation is trying to figure out. These are the questions that are, you know, that are trying to, you know, we trying to understand because we're not in the room, right? So, he was political. He was political with his take, and that's just where it was. And we shall continue. The episode is still continue to be continued on that saga, because he has not got a contract extension yet. Shout out to Cool Kev in the building, one of the deacons, getting it in, doing his job. I appreciate you doing that because right now, y'all, you know what it is. All right, appreciate you. Hey, make sure you guys double tap that screen, get it going. You know what I'm saying? It's completely free to do. All I'm asking for you guys to do is hit that subscribe button and hit that like button and let it go.
At all, and not bringing Tommy Watt onto the practice squad?
Well, I have a lot of respect for Tommy, and you know, there was a lot of hard decisions that we made the last couple of days, and ultimately our responsibility, coach and myself, is to put the best 53 and then 17 after that, and to get ready to win football games. And there's always a development part of that too, but there's a reality sometimes that who is most ready and who is furthest along and who can help this team win the most. And ultimately we made some decisions that didn't include him for now. When I talked to him yesterday, you know, he's a great kid. He worked really, really hard to try to become an NFL wide receiver after being an FCS quarterback. I don't think people understand quite how hard that is. And unfortunately, this is not a field where there's a lot of patience all the time. And I still believe in Tommy. I think he's got a really bright future, and I really hope that he finds a place where he can find maybe a little more patience from a roster standpoint. The other thing I would say too, and this is to compliment, you know, Alex Guerrero, Chris Cortez, and our entire athletic training staff. We were very...
Tommy Mellott was a project. I said it. You know what I'm saying? He was a project. He was a quarterback in college that tried to convert into a wide receiver. We tried to use him on special teams, and it just didn't work out. He didn't flash. He didn't show much. Even in the preseason games, I think there was only like maybe one run that he did special teams wise, but you didn't even see him out there, you know what I'm saying, running routes on the traditional offensive plays. So there was some issues in regards to them trusting Tommy Mellott, you know what I'm saying, moving forward. And plus there was other wide receivers that were actually more productive and had more abilities that were brought to the table. You know, there's going to be issues when you're trying to fit so many people on a 53-man roster. You know what I'm saying? You can only keep a certain amount. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how the cookie crumbles. Now, they let, you know, as Spytek said, he's still keeping the door open because, hey, he might turn into something, and then you can call him and say, hey, do you want to come over here? You know what I'm saying? So there is that for him. So we'll see if Tommy Mellott down the line, you know, comes back as a Raider.
Very, very healthy. And a lot of times those decisions get made for you. You know, there's a lot of times where I've been in a wide receiver room where you have 15 guys, and next thing you know, you're down to 10, and it's not that hard to make a decision. We had to make a decision between all the wide receivers that we brought to camp. They were all healthy at the end. So unfortunately, it didn't work out here for Tommy right now, but I'm never saying never to him, and I wish him the best wherever he ends up.
Shout out to Alex Guerrero. Okay, Alex Guerrero was a part of the strength and conditioning health, pretty much keeping our players as healthy as they can be. And we had 90 people in our camp, and only 2 got hurt. So 88 out of 90 were healthy. Okay, and those that have been following training camp, you know that only 2 people hurt. You might as well say everybody was healthy, because by the end of camp, there's people that are injured, and you know, some of those people, you know, depending on who they are, they make the team. Sometimes they don't.
It was behind the first 3 guys, and just wanted to get more experience in there.
Yeah, I mean, we're always going to try to find guys at different times that can help our team win. And, you know, I think I love the idea of playing rookies. I think that's a constant like tug and war between coaches and personnel people sometimes. And I think it's really easy for me to sit up here and say, play the rookies, because I don't have to call the plays and coach them up and, you know, get the quarterback to feel like they can trust them. And so we just constantly monitored who was available. And the more we talked about it, and then the Mari was still there, and the way we saw our roster developing and seeing Dante and Jack come along, we started to have some conversations with Mari about coming back to Raider Nation. And, you know, he was super interested right away. And obviously we made the move because we felt like he made us better. And it's been really cool to see him out there the last couple of days. He's somebody I've had a lot of respect for a long time. I can still remember in 2016 in Tampa, when some of you guys may have been there, when he shredded us. And, you know, that feels like a long time ago, probably for both me and him, but a lot of respect for him. I'm glad he's a Raider right now.
We have a player like that who, you know, has been unsigned at this point, hasn't been on another team going through OTAs and training camp. What work goes into making sure that player is ready to go? You sign him, and then what gives you confidence about Amari specifically that, you know, he still has something left in the tank?
Well, he played good football for a team that went to the AFC Championship last year too, and his ability to make unique catches is something that's always stood out for me. And, you know, whether or not you're the fastest guy in the world or you're not the fastest guy in the world, you're going to have to make contested catches at this level. And he's always been able to do that. And he had many of those last year. In terms of getting him ready to play, that's Alex Guerrero and them are having to, they onboard him. They kind of assess where he's at physically. Obviously, he has not been in a camp, so we cannot have an expectation that he's in tip-top shape and ready to play football. But we have a plan for him to bring him along, and that plan will more than likely include him being a big part of the game plan in New England in 10 days or whatever it is from now.
John, now that Geno Smith has, you know, been in the building since April, just what has been your impression of him, how he's acclimated himself as one of the leaders on the team?
He's been everything we've wanted him to be. He's a hard worker. He's competitive. When he comes out to practice, it's with conviction, and he's out there for a reason. It's not something that he's just out there throwing a football around. I mean, he is detailed. He's been a leader for us. He likes to mix it up with Max, which is a fun thing to see too, because I always love a quarterback that won't back down from people like Max, and he can throw the football. I mean, I've always admired his arm, but when you stand close to him, I think you guys have been out there now to see it and really see him throw a football. It's pretty special the way that he can spin it. But I think a lot of us knew that the person has been as advertised, but again, not a surprise because Coach knew him so well.
With that tug of war sometimes between playing rookies or, you know, coaches maybe wanting more veteran players. When you're sitting in your chair, how difficult is that battle between trying to develop a guy and like trying to find a guy that might help you win next Sunday?
I wouldn't say it's a battle, but you just got to know what the guys are capable of, and you don't want to throw rookies into situations, or really anybody, that they're not totally prepared for. And people progress at different levels, and wide receiver is a really hard job to master. It requires a lot athletically, it requires a lot mentally, and it requires a quarterback to trust you too. I mean, I've been around some really great ones, and if they didn't trust you, you were never going to get the ball ever. And they were pretty vocal about that too. So, you know, Jack and Dante have both been doing really well, and you know, bringing in somebody with Amari is somebody that can take a little bit of the pressure off of him, so we don't have to rely so much on him. And also another really good player that's had a really great career that they can rely on for advice and can help to teach them what it really looks like.
More broadly, I guess, on my question of making a decision for the team today and a team for the future, you have to plan for next week, next year, down the road. Like, how difficult are those decisions?
Well, it's challenging because you don't want to wake up, a month, 2 months, a year from now and not have pieces in place in the future too. But you can't do that and just plan for the future and neglect today and the next week and the next game. And so, I think as you have more experience in the job that I have, and Coach Carroll obviously has been doing it a long time, and the people we have around us, I don't know if I have a great answer for you, Adam, but just there's a gut to it where it's like this guy, after the conversations and how he's coming along and his mental makeup and his intelligence and his work ethic, like how much is he ready for? How much can we expect? And not that they're not going to take losses. Everybody takes losses and gets beat down and gets beat in this league. Everybody, even the best ones. But their ability to bounce back from it and be prepared for that situation and know that like I can get up and I can keep going is paramount. And it is a nuanced challenge every year, but it is one that we have to be really good at because we want to win today and win tomorrow and the next year.
What was it that stood out to you about Kenny Pickett that was different than other quarterbacks that might have been available, or just in comparison to them, that you thought would make a good contribution to the Raiders?
I have a lot of respect for the player. He's 15-10 as a starter. He's had opportunities to play. He won a Super Bowl last year, so he knows what it looks like. I think I said before, he's a good athlete. He's not too dissimilar from Geno in a lot of ways in the way he can move and the offense that we want to run. I think sometimes you can get two different types of quarterbacks, and it becomes a big challenge for the offense coordinator for Chip to kind of match those two up and have the backup quarterback ready to go should something happen, in the middle of a game. But with Kenny and the way he kind of mirrors Geno in a lot of ways, that just makes it a little bit easier in what is already a very hard job. And again, he's won in this league. He's somebody we have a lot of respect for. We had great character reports with him coming out of Pitt a bunch of years ago, and we just felt like he was a good ad for our culture and for our team.
Let's go Willie, Steve, and then Vinny.
John, we can just clarify, just based on your comments about keeping an eye on Amari, always keeping an eye on where he was at. Is it just pure coincidental that the news of Jacoby requesting a trade, that they were roughly the same day or the same time? I mean, did it have anything to do with that in terms of the news breaks that he requested trade? So let's go lock him up in case something doesn't happen with Jacoby.
My official answer and the absolute truth is that it was pure coincidence. Yes. It may not look like that, but it was absolutely coincidence. We had been talking to Amari for a while, just making sure it was the right fit and we can work the right contract out.
John, you mentioned a couple times this afternoon about being on the same page. 9 of your 11 draft picks made this roster, this 53-man roster. What does that say about your ability to build a staff you did build here and have the communication lines open among everybody to come to consensus on every player that you did draft and to see them at this point make your roster?
I think it started with Coach and I being on the same page from the get-go last year, and we had a lot to get accomplished in a short period of time when he and I both got here. Work with his staff, work together, try to sort through the different scouting reports that I had, my background, and what I would look for in draft picks and all that. And ultimately we knew from the start that we were looking for the same kind of football player, the same kind of makeup. And then I thought Coach and I brought that to life in the draft. And we've talked from the start about building and fostering a culture that thrives on competition, and that if you can't meet that challenge every day, if it's too much from you, you won't have a very good chance to be here long term. And when we drafted those guys, I think I can remember sitting up here, whatever it was, 4 months ago, and saying that we'll see how they do physically, but I was convicted that they were the right kind of person that could survive in this culture. And I think 9 of those guys making that is a testament to that, because it was a hard training camp and it was a lot for all of them, but they showed up every day because they love to play and love to compete, and they're the right kind of people we want to build this program on.
The NFL changed the rules a few years ago where that practice squad, you could elevate guys, to your game day roster. How important does that become in kind of the team building here? I look at a guy like Terrell Edmonds, who was taking first team reps, at safety. Does he kind of fit into that mix and that mold of something that you can activate on game day?
Yeah, it's a great tool to get the right 48, 49 people up on game day. It creates a bigger challenge. It's been a new thing to learn, and there's a lot of nuances to it, and it's almost like chess a little bit. You got to think ahead about how you want to do it and not waste elevations and who's eventually going to sign to the active roster. But it helps in a lot of different ways. It helps people like Terrell Edmonds, he did a lot of really great things. I told him this yesterday, a lot of really great things in 2 weeks, more than you would expect somebody that was nowhere on August 1st. And, years ago, it might have, without having that tool, might have precipitated him not being here. But now it's like, well, we can keep working with him, and he can keep building, and we can see if he can be part of the game plan in a week.
So that goes to exactly what I was talking about the whole like Aiden O'Connell situation, having the loopholes, right? You got loopholes. You got to play the game. You got to make moves here. You got to wait and then make a move, and all of that. So John Spytek has to do all of that, and he's going to be doing that because the guy that they were talking about, the Tremaine Edmonds, he's definitely going to be a guy that we're going to hear on a weekly basis. He's being elevated from the practice squad. You know what I'm saying? And it's because we have Lonnie Johnson out, and Tremaine has been playing that role. So, there's going to be we're going to hear that for at least 4 weeks that Tremaine Edmonds is being, moved from the practice squad to the active roster, and then back to the practice squad, and then back to, what I'm saying, that whole loophole. He's going to play that game because we're definitely going to have to use that to our benefit. Shout out to Afakasi in the building. To answer your question, yes. And shout out to Cool Kev. Oh, hey, make sure you guys double tap the screen. Go ahead and do that. And make sure you guys subscribe. You know what I'm saying? That's completely free to do. And, hey, why not? All right? Hey, you know what time it is. I should be in bed. But, hey, I'm out here doing the work for y'all. So just subscribe and double tap the screen.
John, can you identify maybe 1 or 2 players that you can really think of that you came into OTAs and you and your front office might have had kind of like a blank slate or didn't know much about that player that you feel really had to go out their way to really earn a spot on the team?
That's a great question. I wouldn't say that I didn't know a lot about them. But the 2 guys that initially come to mind are Will Putnam and Dylan Laube. I knew a lot about those guys, but when we talk about what it means to be a Raider and to compete every day and to show up with energy and positivity and start where they started with, which was not getting second team reps, and just work every day and challenge themselves every day to show up and do the right thing, and then do the right thing, and then get an opportunity to run with the twos and make plays and be a great teammate. And it just stood out. It's just one of those things that Coach and I talked about that you just could not deny. And those are the exact kind of 2 people that we want here. And, Will offers a lot of versatility as an interior lineman. He proved some value as a center, but also to play guard. And, if you're going to go to game day with 8 offensive linemen, the value in those guys on the inside is that they can play all 3 of those spots. And Will proved that to us. And he did it day after day. And then with Dylan, just a relentless drive to be a good teammate and make plays, and he had good kickoff returns, and he's making tackles on kickoff and on punt team. And if you're paying attention to the right kind of people, you just can't deny that. And at the end of the day, I don't really care where any of them came from, whether they were a draft pick or a high money free agent signing or an undrafted free agent or a 7th round pick. I just care if they're good football players who can be good teammates, and I know Coach feels the same. And those 2 guys, I thought in spades, kind of exemplified that this training camp.
So in regards to Will Putnam was a guy that was getting praise from our former head coach, Antonio Pierce. So it's not familiar that Will Putnam is is popping out of, you know what I'm saying, popping out the tape and et cetera, et cetera. So for him to make the roster definitely is showing that, hey, Antonio Pierce pointed him out too as a guy, hey, he's a guy to look out for. And then now we're seeing, hey, he's on the active roster, and the GM, the new GM, and the head coach have signed off that this guy, Will Putnam, is worthy of a 53-man roster spot. So shout out to Will Putnam. I will say this, and you guys have not heard this anywhere else, so definitely turn your phone up, turn your TV up, turn your iPad up, your tablet up, whatever you got listening, turn it up, because I'm about to give you guys some hot fire. Okay? Watch out, because I think Dylan Lowby is John Spytek's favorite. I'm going to say it again. Watch out, because I think that Dylan Lowby is John Spytek's favorite. Now, Twuan, you tripping? Why are you saying Dylan Lowby is John Spytek's favorite? Okay, you got to roll the tape. Okay, this is where you got to read in between the lines, and this is why I'm here for you. Okay, when John Spytek was asked before the draft what kind of players does he look for, and not just necessarily a position, but he talked about the characteristics of a player, and he referred to a few players from his former team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and said, hey, this guy was this guy did that, this guy did this, right? And that's why they're on the team. One of the guys that he really highlighted over there in Tampa Bay is their star running back, Bucky Irvin, which is a guy that they just drafted, I believe it was last year. Okay? If he's talking this high about Dylan Lowby, he has some type of bias towards Dylan Lowby. Now, that could be a benefit to us. That could also be a curse to us. It could be just like for some people that know me and that have been following this channel for a while, it might be a Dallin Levitt situation. Okay? And that's not good. But it might be a good thing. Dylan Lowby might continue to be that special teams ace, that guy that we can really rely on special teams, may possibly sneak his way to getting some snaps at running back at some point in his career. But I'm putting the flag down and saying that Dylan Lowby is a favorite of John Spytek. And when I say favorite, I'm talking about he's sitting there at camp hoping Dylan Lowby, I hope Dylan Lowby does something today. I hope Dylan Lowby shows out on special teams. Now, he's probably not going to let that be known because that's unprofessional, but deep down inside, he has a special eye for Dylan Lowby. All right.
You've obviously put in so much work to get here. You talked about all the mentors you had along the way to prepare you for this, but sliding over that one chair where you're not giving advice or your thoughts anymore, you're the guy making the final decision and standing there. I guess, what did you learn about yourself in this process the last couple of weeks?
I don't know that I learned it, but that I'm okay living in that space. You know, that hard decisions are okay. You know, I think we've all, probably everybody in this room too, you've all been through a lot. I've been through a lot in my life, and at the end of the day, this is a job and this is football, and I take it really serious. I want to have a great team. I want Raider Nation to be proud. I want the players to get everything they deserve out of it. But, you know, I wanted this job for a lot of different reasons, but it's because I'm not afraid to make tough and critical decisions. And I don't think that I'm going to get them all right. I've lived through getting things wrong, and the older you get, I think you all realize you get things wrong, but that you'll be okay. But to make tough choices with conviction, and then be self-critical and open-minded and aware enough to realize, like, oh, I got this one right, and this is why I got it right, and this one wrong, and this is why I got it wrong, and I'm sure we got some wrong over the past month, and we'll see. But I can promise you I'll learn from those, and I'll only get better because of that.
All right, thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, that's John Spytek's press conference after the 53-man roster. Okay, so he does all his work, gets those names, you know what I'm saying, and finalizes the initial, I'm using that word, initial 53-man roster, because it's very fluid. There's going to be guys coming and leaving. Still at this point, all the way up to, week 1 or so, there's going to be some guys added, some guys subtracted. But he has done his work and has the 53-man roster. So the GM does come out and he does talk about what's going on. He gives us the insights on some of the moves that he's made in regards to the 53-man roster. And you heard some of those things, and those questions were made. But, hey, that's the job. And he's going to have to bring in some more guys. He's going to have to keep his eye on the loopholes on how to hold guys and how to, cut guys so that it benefits our team wherever our team may be, right? So that's it, y'all. I'm about to go and look in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I know some of y'all was wilding. I already know that. But I'm going to scroll up, see if there's any legit comments and questions. And we'll get into it. Twuan After Dark. Hey, you know what? I gotta do what I gotta do. I see a lot of people timed out and removed. Obviously, somebody was talking real crazy in here, and it ain't me, but I got some gangsters. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the deacons that keep things in order. Hi. Thanks for subbing. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Double tap the screen. Yeah. Twuan called the police on you. Hey, look, I don't call the police on you. I just let my deacons be deacons. You feel me? And shout out to the deacons in the building. Okay, somebody's calling somebody queen. Look. And you know what? I'll say this. You calling somebody queen, but you actually got some good comments. Okay? If you take away the queen, because I know you ain't talking to me. But yeah, you got some good comments talking about Dante Thornton and DK, you know what I'm saying, and Cooper, and you know what I'm saying. You asked about Caleb Williams, and all of that. I appreciate you coming in and commenting. But I ain't gonna answer it because I'm not Queen. So ask Queen to answer that for you. Yeah, hey, Avocasi, yeah, I got stay tuned tomorrow. Well, actually today. Today, I'll be going live with one of my brothers. And I've been trying to get him, you know what I'm saying, on panel with me. So stay tuned for that. I think it's 305 Pacific. Is actually, if you go to my channel, you'll see the live scheduled for tomorrow. I believe it's at 3:05, but you can get there at 3. And double tap that screen. And if you have not, go ahead and subscribe. I'll wait for a couple of minutes to see if there's any more comments, questions. Appreciate you guys coming in. Shout out to all the deacons, all the everybody in the congregation. Y'all know that's who I do it for. And I hope you guys got some insight on John Spytek and what he was really saying in between the lines. And again, I gave you guys my Raider gospel on the topic, so you definitely got a little bit of that on this late night. Okay. And if you're watching this on replay, I would love to hear your comments. I would love to see your questions. And I do respond to them. So try me, okay? Try me and ask me a Raider question and see if I don't, give you an answer, what I'm saying, in the comment section, because I do respond to all comments. You know what I'm saying? Whether I hit the like button or if you really do have a question, I will do my best to answer that for you. All right. Hey, if you have not hit that, y'all know what I'm about to say. Hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Okay. Here at Raider Twuan, we are advocates for being an organ donor. Okay. So if you're interested in being an organ donor, that is always down in the description of all my videos and all my lives. So please be an organ donor. All right. That's the only one. Hey, that's the only sales pitch I'm about to give y'all today. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give y'all the quick paying the bills. But I'm glad y'all came in and rocked it with your boy Raider Twuan. I do have a Cash App. Cash App $Twuan $TWUAN. Okay. $TWUAN is the Cash App. Venmo at Twuan. At Twuan. 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 Okay? Hit that Cash App. Hit that Venmo. Support the channel. I do have something. It just came in the mail today. From some people that have gave some Cash App and Venmo donations. I actually bought something that you will see hopefully next week that again is supporting the channel. Okay, so you will see that, and I will also say it then. Shout out to everybody that gave a Cash App and Venmo. Again, Cash App $TWUAN. Venmo at TWUAN. TWUAN. And as I always close out my videos, you are a blessing. Be a blessing to someone else. And let's go, Raiders.